2-1. Yeah, easy.
Yes,
Bobby.
All right, guys, you want to learn about really how to train and develop a great team. You don't want to miss this episode. We're lucky enough to be back in here in Laverne, in California, and Bobby to get us back from RYPT. Reach Your Potential Training back from New Jersey. I brought some of the chilly weather with us. We're not quite too sunny here, but we're excited to be here. So make sure you subscribe. Episode 47 of the Strength of America podcast.
The Strength of America podcast.
All right, welcome back. Bob Davis.
Bobby Davis.
And we got
Bobby Smith, yeah.
coming in.
Nothing better than
got three
that.
Bobs back again from a year ago. Real excited to come in. Your presentation tomorrow is perfect, I think, for a lot of us trying to figure out. We work with a lot of 30 years later now, these kids trying to figure out how to get into it, what do you really do, and training now on speed, agility, conditioning is so much more than it was 30 years ago. However, still kind of amazing how we're trying to put too much together, or we just don't know what to do and where to go from it. So you're talking, kind of getting into this and developing this. Tell us a little bit about what you're talking about with your program and coaches.
Yeah, so what we're going to talk about tomorrow is basically how we develop a RYPT coach. And it all starts through our internship process. And it's about 13 weeks long, and the first 6 weeks are very, learning intensive. So we're going to take them through, starting off your first week. You're just observing, you're a fly on the wall, and I want you to write me an essay about what you saw and exactly absorbing it. And what I'm looking for right there and then is to see, what kind of effort they're putting in. And then right there, that first week too, is going over our culture. And that is huge to making sure that we're all on the same bus and we're going in the right direction, and making sure that we're all on the team. We know exactly our expectations. We know our standards. Now, this is how we're going to develop you, and this is where we're going. Then week 2, we're going to go into our warm-up, teaching them how we go into that joint-by-joint approach. Then I'm going to have you write a warm-up. Then I'm going to have you take me through a warm-up. Then through there, then we're going to go into week 3. Then we're going to get into our explosive movements. So going through the Olympic lifts, going through our jumps, going through our med balls. Then it's like, all right, now you know how to do it. Now coach me through it. All right. Now imagine that I'm a 14-year-old girl that I've never picked up a barbell before. Coach me through it. Because a lot of these, kids that come out of college, they can do the movements pretty well, but have they coached anyone through the movements that have never done them before? And that's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
Then from there, then week 4, then we'll go into, our strength development, going into, our 10 pillars that we call it, which I'll get into tomorrow. And then it's going into exactly how we coach it, what we're looking for. And like right now, now I've been, year 7 of going through a very similar system. I know the mistakes I'm going to see because I know the athletes that we have, they're not great lifters. Some of them aren't even good athletes, but they want to get there. And what we're looking for is, building fundamental movement patterns. And it's developing from the ground up, starting off slow. And it's just the same thing through our internship process is we want to develop them and make sure that, like I always tell the interns, I could give you a fish or I can teach you how to fish. And I'm going to teach you how to be a RYPT coach. You learned the body in school. Yeah. Now I'm going to teach you how to develop it and what you're looking for and make you a coach. Learn our whys, why we do things, and then you can start developing your own system. So the first 6 weeks are very learning intensive. Then after week 6, we start our summer where we get all the kids in. And now it's like, all right, are you able to take a group? Because the whole goal of the internship is for you to lead a group, and I'm the secondary coach. Yeah. So that's our goal. And then after that, what I tell the interns is my athletes are going to hire you. My athletes are going to come to me and be like, what's Pat doing? What's Jake doing? We got to get them at RYPT. They're really good. And, you're not selling me, you're selling them.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that's the big thing.
Well, that's fantastic. I think there's so many of them, they get out of school and they think they already know what's going on until they get in the system and find out that, wow, what do I do? We've got all these kids and what's happening, and you don't have that individual that's the perfect athlete to work with and tweak. You've got some that have great components. They may be able to use their hips. Some can't use their hips. Some have knee issues, back, and that's sort of part of that whole internship program.
And then they get there and it's like they're, explaining their thesis on the hip hinge. And it's like, you lost them. Yeah, how can you do it in 3 words or less? Right now it's just like I get into the movement. I don't say anything. It's like the more experience you
It's
get,
kind of
the less
mimic.
you say.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's something I've realized, and luckily I haven't gone through something as intensive as that. That's
Right.
going to be great for people to go through. But I mean, just being around him and watching, and then him giving me little opportunities at camps as I grew up, it wasn't as awkward. I still had to learn as I went through, like, okay, we're not all going to end up with like elite athletes that you can just show them once and they can pick it up and go.
Right.
I mean, you hit that like third grade kid and you try to teach them a hip hinge, and you're just like,
No.
Yeah.
you're like, what? So it's got to be just mimic what I'm doing, or
Right.
give one or two cues, or shut the door with your butt. Simple things like that.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't learn at school.
No.
You have to learn just by kind of like watching you, or just kind of having somebody, or I learned this from Joe from Exos. I gave an intern, I said, write some cues on like a hip hinge, like just some creative cues, what you think.
Right.
And then he started to come back, and I was like, wow, thanks. It really helped me out, first of all.
And that's
But
the thing
second of
too.
all,
Like
it was-
they make us better. Like
Yeah,
going through
sure.
that internship process makes me a better coach, and it's like so funny. Like I'm trying to develop them, and next thing you know, they're making our internship better, and they're developing me
Yeah.
and getting me better because of that too. So it's like
Yeah.
the more that you give, the more you get.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what we love, getting the interns in there during that summer period. I mean, we do have them throughout the year, but it's always the best when they're in the summer because they're there the longest,
Sure.
and they're there throughout the day where we can develop and spend time with them. But yeah, that's funny how it works.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
and it's a hand in hand too. I think when we do ours, that's where we have kids all the time come in and say, okay, well, can you hire me? I want to do this and go.
Right.
We always start with an intern program. Well, you
Yeah.
got to show, you got to learn our program, learn what to
Right.
do, and get into it. And that's where we hire from within on that point. Because you also find some that get into it and realize it's not quite what they thought it was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they move. But it's how you explain it and how you get into it. So I
And it's
think
like, can you
that's
handle the
key.
group?
Yeah.
Can you get in front of a group, and are you going to just freeze, or are you going to be able to shine?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's confidence. Do they
Sure.
have the confidence to get in front of that group?
Yeah.
Well,
You
that's
know?
great. Well, the first week that you allow that, I think it's just great that they're the fly on the wall or whatever, watching to see what's happening, observing, and then making notes and writing something back to you so you can see what they did, learn, and see.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll do that, or some want to get in right away. But understanding how you work and how you work with the kids, and that's what's exciting about seeing some of the kids that have been in your videos or stuff as well, and their comments back is so much about, your energy and the stuff that you do, but how you give back and how they get enthused about what they're doing, and they'll pick up on that. That positive energy does so much for them to understand.
Absolutely.
Instead of just, as we're hearing at different points, of the pound on and the old school coaching, just drill and go. And what are you really after?
Yeah.
I think that's key. I think for these kids to understand that they've got somebody in their corner helping them out, that they're there for a reason. They
Right.
know they're not perfect. That's why they're there for it.
Yeah.
That a positive feedback makes a big difference in helping them.
Mhm.
So now, if they can't get to you in New Jersey, you guys, what would you recommend for these kids going into college or in high school and they're wanting to get into the profession?
You
What
got to
kind
get
of
an
things are you guys
internship.
can be doing it.
Well, not
Find
just
it.
through us. You'll find an internship.
Yeah.
And find it. And then the good questions is like, what do you do throughout that time that I'm there? Can you explain to me? Are you going to be helping me through the process? Because I've done the internships where I'm just sitting there, I'm setting up, I'm
Yeah.
cleaning,
Yeah.
and I'm just not coaching at all.
Right.
And it's like that's not what Adam and I wanted from our interns. We wanted to develop them and make them coaches and give back to this field. And it's give back.
Yeah, that's
We're
fantastic.
so lucky to wear these clothes every day and impact the lives of our athletes.
Yeah.
Let's impact coaches, and how many more athletes can we impact?
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. We appreciate it. Now, are they doing some of this, or are you expanding with AthletesAcceleration with this? I know you've done other products and things. Or you
Yeah.
have coaching products and things.
We
to
do.
help out?
Well, what we've done now is Pat Beef, Pat Rigsby, and myself have started an Athletes Acceleration licensing company. So it's like we're helping other gym owners out there to make sure that they have the marketing, they have the business, and that they're
that's-
developing the coaches and helping them throughout their developing their own systems. And it's not like I didn't want to run like a RIP franchise or anything like that, because it's all with athletes that you train, and it's not going to be the same.
Right.
I understand that, because not everyone's going to have the same facility that I have, and our program is the best for our facility.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the best for your
Or
facility.
the same energy you got
Yeah.
day in, day out,
Yeah.
That's part of getting a base system and understanding, because I think there wasn't anything like that 30 years ago when I was doing mine. We just kind of figured it out, went through a lot of trial and error, and luckily was able to help Bobby. And I've got other kids through the time that have gone through the same to start their own or go off to college to teach, whatever they're doing. But having that system to help them give them the starting point is fantastic. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure we get that information for you guys. So we'll put that in the show notes and stuff as well to learn about it, because with the positive feedback we've gotten from you guys from past, I think it was episode 19 when he was on, we had Bobby on, and the things in the past and where you guys have said and questions ahead of time. They just want to know resources. Where do they go to? How do they get there and find it? Not get all the answers, but hey, get a starting point, figure out what to do and how to save some time on it. I think it's fantastic and help these kids with some really solid resources. So really appreciate everything you've done and always do. And I
appreciate you guys too as well.
Tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And we'll keep posted, and I'll have the links, and I'll get it from you, whatever we need, and we'll pass it along to you guys. So make sure you subscribe it. Make sure you're into it regular. Let us know feedback, comments, and look for some of the posts we had from the Athletes Acceleration Weekend Speed and Power Summit. Been putting them up on Storyline already and have some things. And we'll get Bobby jumping around talking a little bit tomorrow, too, and bring that energy in for you. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys stay SOA strong, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.